what I wear is what makes me different as a coach. It's the way that I stand out at the national level.
Kelly, you should have been asking you what you were going to wear. You both got great style. Arizona State serves to get us going. We're underway from Tempe. Coppin State looking for the upset, and the Sun Devils score the first point of the night.
Coppin State's going to really have to minimize their attack errors in this match, especially making the adjustment to a much bigger physical block than they're used to in the MEAC.
You alluded to it in the open, Kelly, but Arizona State returned just 5 players that played more than 10 matches a year ago. It just goes to show that this program is at the level now where they don't rebuild, they reload.
Reload and then develop the players they have. Bailey Miller, the perfect example, really played sparingly last year on the right side, and now she's turned herself into an all Big 12 first teamer.
We'll talk more about Miller as the night wears on. Meanwhile, it's Sydney Henry back at the service line, giving ASU a 2-0 lead early on in the first set. And there's a big swing to get Coppin State on the board into Kenya Stafford. You see why she's so dangerous.
Stafford with a real fast arm. She's physical, and you got to get 4 hands rather up in front of her. Loves that angle shot.
Player of the year in the MEAC, as we said, 3.68 kills per set for Stafford. Sun Devils will have to do a good job on her tonight. First touch for Noemi Glover. It was with finesse. We so often see the power for Glover. That time, her first kill comes in more of attack.
That's been one of the big elevations in Glover's game this season as it's gone on. It's her ability to go to those off-speed looks and to not just take the big, powerful rips.
Semi-finalist for the player of the year nationally is Noemi Glover. Another good serve. Coppin State trying to keep things alive. You get the sense they're just going to have to handle the opening blitz if they are going to sustain any sort of a upset mind, and certainly Glover started off hot with 2 kills.
And it's tough to sustain the blitz when you've got face frame making digs like that, laying out. Look at this. Her body on the line it allows ASU to transition to the right side offensively.
We talked about Bailey Miller earlier. The service error there for Arizona State. But if the Sun Devils are going to make a run in this tournament, there's going to be so much attention on Glover, and deservingly so. It's going to be Miller who's going to really have to step up as well for the Sun Devils.
Absolutely, and Miller has developed a lot more range in her game offensively. ASU is also going to have to really rely on their middles. Kobe Neal is such a weapon in the middle, both as a blocker but as an offensive player. Has a big arm.
Andrea Serrano back to serve for Coppin State. One of 5 Puerto Ricans on this Coppin State roster. That one was hammered straight down by Neal.
And right on cue, Kobe Neal with that big arm on display. Such a versatile player. She can hit the gap set. She can run a slide when ASU occasionally runs off of 1 foot.
I mentioned Colby Neal, now the sister, Jillian Neal, out of San Diego, back at the service line. She's such a weapon in the libero jersey for the Sun Devils, but she can play all over the floor. She's a Swiss Army knife for J.J. Van Niel. Luna, the tip, longest rally in the early going of this first set, and a point from the back line. There's Charisse Adelano.
You're going to see Coppin State go a little bit more than they have all season to the back row attack to give ASU a different look. It's something that they recognize the Sun Devils don't always defend well, so the freshman on that great back set.
Miller digs it out in center for Henry, and Noemi Glover's first touch is denied.
Nice job by the Coppin State block on that left pin. That's one of the keys in this game, is being able to slow down Noemi Glover, make her inefficient. She has been phenomenal all season.
Don't assume Coppin State will have many blocks, especially on Glover tonight, but they get an early one. Glover will, though, bounce right back and pick up her 3rd kill.
One of the biggest challenges for the Eagles is going to be this fast tempo offense that ASU runs. Wants to get to the pins in under a second, so as a block, it's really hard to close that in time.
Bryn Covell, a sophomore who transferred from Texas A&M. Service line for Arizona State. Another good dig there. As you mentioned, it's such a weapon for the Sun Devils to have someone like Faith Frame in the libero jersey, all Big 12 honoree, and she's just done a seamless job transitioning into this program.
And she's had to play a little bit different role on the defensive end, has really had to step up into being a leader.
There's Covell. Eagles floundering in the back row. A big swing by Stafford. Back near the Arizona State reserves to keep it alive was Covell. Phenomenal effort by the Sun Devils. Frame up to Covell, near side swing, Tatum Parrott. The transfer from Grand Canyon. She's that third wing of attack in terms of hitters.
Parrott could be the X factor today in this match. She's got a cannon of an arm, that hardest hitter on this ASU team. Already 2 kills for her. She's doing a much better job of reading the opposing block, mixing up a range.
An early 8-4 lead for the 2-seed Arizona State Sun Devils on their home floor, a place where they were undefeated this year, 14-0. Here's Kyla Presley, a member of the All Big 12 rookie team. That far side and a block alongside Ella Lamigora.
It's just a different look that you're going to see on that left side pin for Coppin State because ASU's block is so big and physical. Every player on the Sun Devils team this year can touch 10 feet. So it's like facing a brick wall.
It's like the Monstars.
Pretty much.
In terms of the physicality. ASU top 10 nationally in terms of blocks per set. That serve just out of play. And a service error will allow Coppin State to snap a 4-0 run. Yeah, it's a staggering statistic, and it looks as though J.J. Van Niel will challenge that serve. But going back to what you just said, because it bears repeating, everyone can touch at least 10. That is unbelievable.
And that's something that head coach J.J. Van Niel hasn't had in his previous 2 years at ASU. He said, this is the most physical team I've had, and it's been a lot more focus this year defensively on that block at practice.
Just going to be interesting to see how this team can go ahead and last throughout the rest of this tournament if they are to advance tonight. This is a squad that, you mentioned it, as the point will go to Arizona State. The official was confused there on which side to point, so it is overturned. But Sun Devils, the 3-seed last year, they were upset the second round by Texas A&M. That really jump-started the year that A&M has now had. And Arizona State, yeah, they were preseason ranked, but they've really overcame expectations, even by their own head coach.
They've had a chip on their shoulder all season, the Sun Devils had, because they were picked 3rd in the Big 12 poll, even though they were the defending champs.
In the conference for 2 years, they've won it twice. Big lefty swing, but it's Lamigora and Parrott to reject.
ASU's block has already been invasive in this match so far, taking away both pins. They've been up, pressed, and ready.
The 6-0 scoring run now for the Sun Devils as Covell stays back there for Arizona State. They set right to the middle and a kill for Caden Cupid.
That first contact is going to be so important for Coppin State to be able to have all 3 attack options available. Won't allow the block to camp out at either pin.
Cupid, first team All-MEAC, transferred from North Carolina Central, so one of those conference transfers. Saw what the potential was at Coppin State, and she's fit in seamlessly. Lamigora with point, a transfer from Long Beach State, but she's familiar with Arizona. Born and raised in Tempe, Corona del Sol High School, just down the road.
Where I went to high school, actually.
Important to note.
Very familiar with it.
Her name should be in the Ring of Honor. Lamigora, sure. Burke, for sure.
I mean, I was athlete of the year.
Come on.
So.
Gonna have to make some calls after this one. Bailey Miller, a massive swing, but that was a net violation of the point to Coppin State.
Sun Devils off to a pretty fast start, though. This is exactly what J.J. Van Niel wants to see out of his team. Keep the gas pedal down and minimize the attack errors and the point runs from Coppin State.
Gul Palag, senior setter from Argentina, transferred up from the JUCO ranks, spent a couple of years at Trinity Valley Community College in Texas. Scrum near the net on both sides. Covell plays off. Kyla Presley, that heavy right hand showing off, but it's handled by Coppin State defensively. Early 6-point advantage for Arizona State. Presley this time with a more finesse approach. Coppin State scrambling to keep it alive. Phenomenal effort by the Eagles. Played a center for Lamigora. The defense scrambling for Coppin State. That was just out of play and a point for the Sun Devils.
But that rally felt like a win for Coppin State. Great job scrambling there, showing off some grittiness, keeping a lot of rallies alive. How this ball got over is crazy.
First time Ella Lewis is entered. Freshman from the Woodlands, just outside of Houston. Appeared in 26 matches in the regular year for ASU, and Lewis has herself an ace.
Already 2 service aces for the Sun Devils, aggressive at the service line. And J.J. Van Niel really looks at the serve as the Sun Devils' first attack.
There's something they struggled with early on in non-conference play, but they honed those skills in, especially as the conference year wore on. Their ace statistics still not popping off the page, but something they definitely feel more comfortable in now.
Yeah, and it's something that they're getting the aces and getting teams out of system in the right moments of matches.
Lewis will check out. Right when we talk about the service line, of course, the service error, as fate would have it. Covell plays off Presley. They've been running a lot through Kyla Presley, the redshirt freshman, who's playing against a school nearby. She's from Laurel, Maryland. Of course, Coppin State from Baltimore. Timeout on the floor as the 2 seed Arizona State off to a hot start. Arizona State with an early 15-7 lead over Coppin State here in set number 1. And the Eagles, you were wondering how they would handle being in the NCAA tournament, obviously going up against a really good team like ASU. And so far, hitting percentage in the negative, already 5 attack errors. Good start out of the timeout, though.
Good response by the freshman, no less, Cherise Adelano. And that's huge because Coppin State is really going to have to take advantage of the opportunities they have to get ASU to side out.
That's a fastball of a serve handled by the Sun Devils, and there's the first time we've called Bailey Miller's name. You know, you mentioned improvement. And a senior from Quinlan, Texas, she added 5 inches to her vertical over the offseason.
Which is insane, because to put that in perspective, normally if you're adding 2 to 3 inches to your vertical, it's a big deal. 5 inches is unheard of.
I don't know if I even have 5 inches on my vertical, Kelly. It's unbelievable indeed. The hard work, you know, she basically worked throughout the entire offseason, took 1 vacation, and then had a break for the holidays, and that was it. She was in the gym the rest of the time. The block for the Sun Devils, you knew it'd be a storyline. Neal and Parrott team up there.
Already 4 blocks in this match, and we still have 9 points to play, but ASU really keying in on both pins from Coppin State.
Mention it, nearly 3 blocks per set for the Sun Devils through the regular season. That's good for 8th best in the country. Already over that total in this first set. Nice response, though. The power from Ayanna Farrow.
When Coppin State has been able to go to the back row attack with Adelano back there, it's led to a lot of success for the Eagles.
Farrow shares a hometown with Kyla Presley on ASU's side, Laurel, Maryland, and Farrow certainly a capable senior for the Eagles. Not a good first touch for the Sun Devils, but they're able to recover as Glover's back in there for ASU for the first time in a long time. Glover will handle this. Trying to get kill for Neal, who we play on. Sun Devils by 8 in set number 1. Glover, heck of an attack, but a better recovery as Coppin State stays alive. Glover goes back down to work, down line for the kill.
Naomi Glover is just so elite. Her ability to read the opposing block, she plays so high above the net, and her arm swing is so fast. This is impossible as a blocker to be able to turn this back.
They did turn it back the first time, could not the second. Good looking serve that time by Jillian Neal. Arizona State flying around the floor, relentless defensively. Glover denied. We play it through again for Parrott. Serrano set up, and a rejection again for Arizona State. The block party alive and well. That's already their 4th.
The Eagles just aren't getting any offense right now from the right side. Lamagore and Parrott are shutting anything down that is set that direction. Really nice job being set up and pressed.
Arizona State nearing the red zone in set number 1. Quick ball, somehow a pancake to keep it alive. Sydney Henry with phenomenal effort. Near side swing. Again, ASU's length and physicality showing through. They go down to the very corner, but just out of play.
And these are the points that Coppin State has to capitalize on. String together a couple of point runs here. You've got one of your better servers, too, in Stafford back at the line.
Stafford with 35 aces, and you see why with serves like that, just a frozen rope. Glover denied.
And that left block, all of a sudden, really starting to camp out on Noemi Glover.
Adelano with a couple of blocks now in this first set against Noemi Glover. Give Coppin State credit. Trying to hang tough here in set number 1, but you can only do so much against a player like Glover who comes back with a kill. That's her 5th.
And Glover's so skilled at making adjustments on the fly. She's not going to get blocked 2 times in a row. Just redirects this sharp angle.
Arizona State looking to take care of business on their home floor and set up a big-time duel tomorrow against Utah State. They've looked really poised so far in set number 1. Another rejection, Lami Gora, the hometown hero.
Lami Gora has been all over the net. That's her 4th block of this first set. She is turning everything back. Doesn't matter if it's at the left pin or the middle.
Season high, she had 9 blocks against West Virginia, but she's really been a steady force all year long, and that one was absolutely teed up for Lami Gora with another major kill.
And when you have 2 middles of the Sun Devils that can come in and give you elite production, not only as blockers, but on the offensive side, it makes it a really tough tandem to defend.
Their lead, a set-high 11 points. Parrott. A net violation against Coppin State. Point Arizona State. They're 2 away from taking the first.
It's been a balanced effort so far for ASU, really moving this offense around. And Coppin State's really had trouble, too, picking up some of the tip and off-speed looks.
They'll still have both their timeouts remaining. They're running against time here in the first set, and a bad first touch will provide the Sun Devils with set point.
4 service aces in this first set for ASU. And this is exactly the start that J.J. Van Niel wanted from the service line.
They've got 4 aces. They've got 5 blocks. They're looking every bit the part of a tough out in this tournament, and they win the first set 25-11.
ASU doing a really nice job right now with their big physical block. 5 blocks in this first set, and they're forcing Coppin State into a lot of attack errors, 8 of them in the first set, and it's a big win for the Sun Devils here in set number 1 from Desert Financial Arena.
Sun Devils looked the part, and you wondered them coming out on their home floor. Of course, they're massive favorites against Coppin State, but they looked focused and very much in tune, and they run the slide to start off set number 2, and it's Colby Neal pick up her 2nd kill.
There's Neal's versatility, her ability to go off of 1 foot to run on the gap set or the quick. She just has so much versatility and a big arm too, so really tough to defend.
Recent draft pick by Orlando in the MVL in the 2nd round a couple of weeks ago. Found out she was pumped. Will continue playing volleyball after she's done here in Tempe. Glover, that left hand, the heaviest one you'll see.
And Glover just is playing above the block right now. Coppin State, well, they had a little bit of success for a couple of points blocking her. She's hitting down as that block is still on its way up.
6 kills already for Noemi Glover. A couple of digs as well. You can basically count on her for at least 10 on any given night. All but 1 this year. There's Bailey Miller. Yeah, it's just the strength in numbers. It makes them so difficult to defend.
And I would like to actually see ASU get Miller into a little bit better rhythm here offensively in this set. Actually hitting the negative in that first set. That might be the only thing to nitpick for the Sun Devils.
An early 3-0 lead here in set number 2. Dug out nicely that time by Faith Frame. Miller will get another touch. Coppin State was appealing that it was a net violation, a late call, but they do eventually get it right.
These are the points that Coppin State has to be able to take advantage of. When you're getting unforced errors from ASU, you're not going to get a lot of them in a match like this.
The Eagles on the board, as you see Tim Walsh. We asked him yesterday if this is the best team in program history. Wouldn't quite go that far.
He said it's still to be determined, but it has to be right up there with the 2023 team that won a MEAC championship.
He did say it's the closest team he's had emotionally. And what this program has been able to do, we'll talk about more of that as the night goes on. There's a service error, and Miller struggling, I should say, tonight from the service line, but you know, it really is the ultimate program build that Tim Walsh has had to do at Coppin State. This program was nowhere before he showed up.
He resurrected it from the graveyard, basically.
Second NCAA tournament appearance for this Eagles program as Glover climbs the ladder to the tippity top and comes up with her 7th kill.
That's where Glover is so elite. Just her ability, the hang time she has, the ability midair to change up her shots and to read that block perfectly.
Jillian Neal, who had 14 aces on the season, had 36 a year ago, though. So she is a deadly weapon on the service line for J.J. Van Niel. That hit the pin, and it will be a point for ASU.
Coppin State has to figure out a way to get to Kenya Stafford in a rhythm. She is such an integral part of this Coppin State offense, and right now she only has 1 kill.
Yeah, if Stafford's not playing her best, Coppin State really has no chance. I mean, it's really that simple. Try to get her involved there, and right on cue, a kill for Stafford.
And I like the confidence that Coppin State setters are having and going right back to Stafford, getting her in a rhythm. Really nice decision making there from Halak.
Redshirt senior from LA. And a family full of athletes. Her sister Tori, of course, a star right now at Texas. Little sister playing for one of the best teams in the country. Stafford. Now an opportunity for ASU. Wasn't the best set. Glover had to kind of hesitate on it. Stafford with a big swing. Extended rally here. Parrott played down line. Coppin State was able to handle the block again, proving dividends for ASU. Free ball opportunity for the Sun Devils. Glover with the left hand. It's dug out nicely. Coppin State battling for this point, but they can't quite get that in play, and the Sun Devils win a marathon.
A tough shot, too, for Stafford. She's off the net, not getting very much of an approach there. So just got a little bit too much power on that.
So Glover will check out, and Kyla Presley back in there for Arizona State. Ovell, the service line, it's not quite intact. That's the 4th service error for Arizona State.
Yeah, but 4 service aces, so a lot of coaches will take that 1-to-1 ratio. You're going to have some errors when you serve aggressively.
Digs that up, now Covell. Parrott met that right at the net. There's a mashup. Lamigora dug out and kept alive. It's the Sun Devils by 3 here in set number 2. Miller prancing forward. Miscommunication and a point for Arizona State.
And nice job there going to Miller in the back row. That's something that we've seen a little bit more as the seasons progress, but tipping from the back row. So catching the defense of Coppin State off guard.
And it's ASU on top by 4. Timeout on the floor as the Sun Devils trying to take a 2-0 set advantage.
And they're pushing each other, too, on the court. TK wants to keep up with her younger sister and everything she's doing at Texas.
Longhorns, one of those dark horse picks. I don't want to even say dark horse, but one of those picks to maybe win the national championship this year.
And they've played really good volleyball. They've got some really talented freshmen on their team.
Now, Longhorn fans that are getting upset right now, I'm only saying dark horse because there's a team called Nebraska that still exists. It's the only reason I said that.
Also, who's unbeaten, we should mention, too.
Yes, and they hardly lose a set, it seems. So it's the only reason I said that. But Texas obviously having a phenomenal year, as is Arizona State, and they're holding a 4-point lead over Coppin State here in set number 2. Aji Coleman back at the service line for the Eagles. Bailey Miller, a big swing, but a rejection there for Coppin State, their 3rd block.
And that's been impressive because Coppin State not necessarily known for their blocking, but they're really keying in on both pins now. It was Naomi Glover in the first set, and now on the left pin with Bailey Miller.
Must be said, Arizona State looked clinical in the first set, not so much so far in the second. Good effort to keep that alive, but Presley will end up with the kill.
When the first ball contact is good and ASU has all 3 attack options available, it puts so much stress on the Eagles' block because they can't commit to one pin or the other.
Strength in numbers and also just that versatility. It makes defending this team that runs such a tempo system as well. That's always one of the first things you hear when you talk to opposing coaches that are facing off against J.J. Van Niel in this ASU squad. Really good serve that time by Lewis. It was handled, though, by the Eagles, and now back on the attack, Bailey Miller. comes up with the kill. Got to get her going, like you said.
Yeah, good decision. I mean, right, she was only heading for 0 a couple of points ago, so have to get her an early rhythm. But Bailey Miller does a nice job. She has a short-term mindset, so she's able to move on point for point, even if she's getting attack errors.
At 2:45 through the regular year. That's an ace. Wow, you couldn't have placed that. If you walked it over there, you couldn't have put it in a better spot.
Ella Lewis right now serving bullets for Arizona State.
Lewis now with 2 aces. A freshman. Bound to be factored into this program for several more years to come. Miller shot that straight down. We play on, though. Coppin State was able to scramble. Covell, Presley. That's a thing of beauty.
And it's a potent 1-2 punch right now on the right side. Glover and Presley. And there hasn't been any drop-off with Presley, the all-rookie Team Big 12 member, into this match. Essentially had a one-on-one block there.
Mentioned it, didn't play at all last year in a redshirt situation for the Sun Devils, but was an Under Armour All-American in 2024. It was a big get for this Sun Devil program in the recruiting line back when she committed.
Utah wanted her when Utah played ASU this year. Coach Lanier told me that they wanted Presley bad, and ASU was able to get her.
One of the significant gets in the early moments of the tenure for J.J. Van Niel. He came to Tempe. ASU hadn't made the tournament at all since 2015. And now they're hosting for the 2nd straight year and a number 2 seed. When
J.J. Van Niel took the job, he had a lot of people tell him, don't take this job. It's a dumpster fire. But he saw something that he could rebuild.
And he didn't even rebuild. He just immediately from the jump made it what it is. The first year, made it to the Sweet 16. And the final year in the Pac-12 for Arizona State.
Nice job with Coppin State going to their middles in transition.
That's a good looking serve. Bailey Miller read that as being out, but that just died.
And that's what it's going to take for Coppin State to be able to string together back-to-back points, go on a little run here, and it starts at the service line.
Azul Palag, who remains back there. It's a service error. Said you'll take the 1-for-1. You got the ace, service error right back, and now ASU holding on to a 5-point advantage here in set number 2, and Noemi Glover returns. Sydney Henry, who's 2nd on the team with 21 aces. To that far side, big swing, and there's a kill for Adelano, the freshman from Puerto Rico.
And a really nice job by Coppin State reversing the flow of this offense and finding Therese Adelano from the right pin.
40 to 42 miles an hour on her serve is what Coach told us.
Such a weapon.
Show it all right there. Miller will float to poke that one across. Much better effort for Coppin State here in the 2nd set, and there's Stafford.
And it just feels like Coppin State has got a little bit of momentum here in the middle of this 2nd set. Stafford is such an energy player for the Eagles.
Adelano remains back there for the MEAC champions. There's Neal. Furious.
Neal is just always available. Great first contact, though, from Bailey Miller. Allows ASU to go to Neal and to run their medals.
6'4" graduate student from San Diego, a transfer from Oregon, much like Noemi Glover, but J.J. Van Niel goes off when you ask about Colby Neal. Embracing her final year of college volleyball from day one, a program buyer in Tempe, and has said how much that just raises the rest of your team.
Yeah, well, when you have a 5th-year senior coming in and working tirelessly, really having a phenomenal work ethic, it sets the tone. You could come in and be checked out, but that's not the case with Neal.
Had that sister connection, of course, with her sister Jillian already here. She said, I'd watched almost every ASU match last year, either before or after my own matches in Eugene. That one just out of play, playing from the back row. And Coppin State hanging around here, down by just 4.
Bailey Miller is still struggling to get going offensively. A lot of attack errors for her right now. Just hasn't been able to dial in the range.
Still hitting in the negative, to your point. 4 kills for Miller, but well below where she's normally contributing for this ASU team. It's Coco Figueroa back there for the Eagles. And again, it's Neal.
It's just so tough to defend the speed of that. You're not going to get more than a single block up against it. And Neal has such a big, explosive arm. She's just picking her spots.
Timeout for Coppin State. ASU out in front now, 17-12. A phenomenal recruiting bed here in the Phoenix metro area as well. Not a great set, and another point for Arizona State. Jillian Neal will stay back there for the Sun Devils. Stafford played cross court, but just a little bit too much pepper in the porridge there.
Stafford just 3 kills, and you have to think a lot of her errors have been because of how big physical ASU's block is. She's having to adjust her shots.
Sun Devils with 7 blocks already, to your point, and that's going to weigh a mental impact, whether you want to admit it or not, for any opponents. Another point for ASU as they try to go cross court in the last 2 attacks.
Let me see a challenge.
You will indeed. Tim Walsh will signal he wants to look at this again.
We got a little dance-off going on with the benches.
We do. It's the great thing about this sport. It's the NCAA tournament. Everything's on the line. It's win or go home, but yet you're going to see things like this at timeouts. Review over, and the point does stay with Arizona State. So the Sun Devils 5 points away from taking a commanding 2-0 set advantage. San Diego's own Jillian Neal to get us going after that review. Stafford, handled by Parrott. Some contact there between Parrott and Henry. Played to the back row. There was a touch, and it will be a point for Coppin State. Zoe Burgess has entered the game as well for Arizona State.
For the first time this season.
Yeah.
She's been out with an injury.
Middle blocker from Lehigh, Utah. Transferred by way of Kansas. Good to see her out there in tournament play. Burgess with the kill, and look at the bench reaction.
Well, that's how you draw it up. Burgess on the gap set, and ASU's been able to run their middles throughout the first 2 sets because they've been in system so much. She'd make her sister Kelly Jo proud on Oklahoma squad with that hit.
Depth all over the floor, and now you get someone else back into the fold just in time for the tournament. Great effort laying out for that ball. And it will result in another Arizona State point, and they're closing in on a set number 2 win.
Tatum Parrott has been really good offensively in this match. Hasn't been set a lot, but when she's got swings, she's really taking advantage and showing off her range.
Well, Zadiska as well, number 2 for ASU. So some seldom used stars for the Sun Devils getting in. That one hit off the pin, and it's a 10-point advantage now for ASU. Taking care of business maybe as you'd expect, but to say it and to do it, obviously 2 very different things.
Thank you.
Rovell's still back there for the Sun Devils as Coppin State makes a change. Garrison checks in for the first time. Really good serve by Covell. And what do you know, it's Burgess again.
That's exactly what you want for your bench. Burgess to come in, and there's literally no drop-off out of your middles.
Just a sophomore, and then you mentioned the injuries kept her out for the entire season, but you think pretty much the entire season, I should say, but obviously someone who is getting time in the NCAA tournament, and that's got to be sweet for her. Sun Devils at set point. Parrott denied. They'll have another chance at it, and she gets the job done. And it's been all maroon and gold through the first 2 sets tonight in Tempe. The number 2 seed looking the part on their home floor. They take the first set 25-11. They take the second 25-14. This goes to show Arizona State feeling confident with where they are, being able to include some people who haven't done much the entire year and throw them into the fray in the NCAA tournament.
And it's been a tough rotation to crack in the middle for ASU because Neal and Lamagora have been so good.
Burgess might be that one looking in the shadows, of course, with the seniors in front of her, and Arizona State strikes first here in the 3rd set.
ASU's had success tonight really throwing off this Eagles defense with some of those off-speed and tip looks.
Whitney Henry back there for Arizona State. Physicality at the net, tough for anyone facing Arizona State. You knew it was going to be a big-time challenge for Coppin State, but there's a big swing from Stafford. They got to get her going here in set number 3. That's just her 4th kill.
A really good sign from Stafford, using ASU's block and tooling through the seam of it.
And we talked about Tori, her little sister starring at Texas. She's got an older sister, Imani, who was a top 10 draft pick in the WNBA. So the bloodlines run strong.
You talk about how competitive that family must be. Amazing athletes.
And all that said, Coach Walsh described Stafford as self-driven.
And coachable.
Coachable. Says a lot about her makeup and her family's dynamic as well. Set from frame, Parrott will play that over. Far side swing, another block for Arizona State.
Great out.
Coppin State, yeah, nice job keeping that up, and we roll on with Glover with another kill. That's her 9th.
And just too easy for Noemi Glover. That block again late to be on the way up, and Glover's basically swinging down into an open net. ASU does such a nice job of finding Glover in transition.
Serve from Miller. It's Glover again. There's double-digit kills for Noemi Glover. She now has 10+ in all but 1 this season.
The difficulty with trying to block Noemi Glover is that she's gone back-to-back down the line, but as soon as you adjust to that as a blocker, she's going to come with the angle shot.
Now got 385 kills on the year, by the way, Kelly.
And she's been doing a lot of it against big physical blocks in the Big 12.
Another point for ASU, and you can kind of sense the frustration a little bit creeping in for Coppin State. A 5-1 lead for the Sun Devils in the 3rd.
It's a nice job here of ASU coming out with being very intentional in this 3rd set to keep the gas pedal down.
Swinton comes in for the first time. Peyton Swinton out of Odenton, Maryland. She gets a touch and gets a kill.
Nice job of sticking with that. Swinton, haven't called her name a lot this season, but Coach Walsh going deep into his bench to try and spark some offense.
5'10" sophomore, and wouldn't you know it, volleyball gods find you right when you enter. Figueroa. And there's Neal. Just a sniper in center.
And that's just been a potent combo on that gap set today for ASU. Colby Neal, big arm. So tough to have more than one blocker up against it. It's a quick set. When you're running stuff to your middles, it's a faster set. And ASU already plays with tempo, so really hard to defend that.
One Neal to another. Jillian Neal back at the service line. There's Lamagora.
Lamagora with 6 blocks in this match, and she has been an absolute shutdown force at the net. 6 of the 7 blocks, I might add.
Starting to flirt with her season high. We mentioned it earlier. She had 9 blocks against West Virginia at the tail end of the season. And a blocking tear is Lamagora, and there she is again alongside Glover.
ASU's just doing a nice job on that right side block of reading Coppin State out of system ball. It allows the Sun Devils to really camp out and get that block set up. Sun Devils off to a very big lead here in the third set. Gas pedal has been down. Glover teaming up with Lamagora on the put down. It's been an efficient outing so far for the Sun Devils, and the blocks come back alive here in this third set, thanks to Ella Lamagora.
Agora with 7 blocks so far tonight by herself, but Coppin State gets a point back out of the timeout. That was Adelano.
Nice response from Coppin State. We've seen little glimpses of life from the Eagles. Again, this is a tall task against the defense of ASU, especially this block, but it all starts with Coppin State's first contact and being able to have attack options available.
The Devils still by 5. Here's Glover. That heavy left hand, and Figueroa thought she was in the perfect spot. Sometimes it doesn't even matter where you are.
It's just so tough to stop this fast offense of ASU. Even if you're in position, the block is going to be late to get up against Glover. Doesn't help, too, that she can touch 10-7.
Love to see her try to dunk a basketball. As that was not a great set, and Arizona State first to double digits. 10-7.
No attack errors right now. And coming in out of that timeout was siding out at 100% in this third set.
Those numbers certainly lead you to the score where it is right now. What a pancake. Great effort by Frame. Farrow. Devils trying to keep this run rolling. Covell, Frame, and now Parrott. Stafford on the back row for Coppin State, and the kill ultimately for Farrow.
That's a great shot from Farrow, just splitting the seam of the back row defense there in zone number 5. And Coppin State is going to need to find some of those deep shots to try and be able to best this ASU defense.
Not a great first touch from Parrott, and it's an ace for Coppin State.
And if you can get some points at the service line, too, that's going to help your cause.
Charisse Adelano will remain back on that service line, just a freshman. Inside hitter out of Puerto Rico. Presley was all over the floor that time, and she comes forward for the kill.
And that play that ASU likes to run, you also see Glover run that a lot. You're generating so much momentum and speed. Is Presley going to have to run all the way across the court, and it gets a one-on-one matchup for the right side.
Heck of a route, and it was pinpoint precision to tee her up for it. Another block for the Sun Devils. That's now their 10th. And no surprise who was there. It was Presley and Lamagora.
Lamagora now with 8 blocks.
One shy of her season high. Transfer from Long Beach States. Sun Devils starting to run this up. An 8-point advantage.
This was a best case scenario for ASU. You want to be able to sweep Coppin State in 3 sets. Utah State went 5 sets tonight, so they're going to have a quick turnaround. ASU should be able to go into tomorrow's match pretty rested.
We're talking about that second round matchup, whether it's Arizona State or if Coppin State can pull off the wild reverse sweep. We'll take a look at Rob Nielsen, the head coach of Utah State. We'll get going tomorrow at 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain, here in Tempe for that second round matchup.
But what a job that Coach Nielsen has done. Utah State, their first tournament win since 2001, and doing it with a very young team, just 3 upperclassmen for the Aggies.
We pointed it out on our show. Utah State pulled it off, but nobody on that roster was alive the last time they did a tournament game. Wanted to get Bailey Miller going, and she does get a kill there, but certainly they'll need Miller to play much more like herself tomorrow. 6 kills tonight, and that's great, but the hitting percentage well below where you normally see it from Miller.
Normally Miller makes an adjustment even set to set. You start to see her getting a little bit better rhythm offensively. Hasn't quite turned the corner yet, but has another shot at it tomorrow as well.
14-6 Arizona State. Wow, Miller used her elbow essentially that time to keep that point alive. Great reaction time and a battle at the net for both sides. Covell, Presley, that's in play.
Kyla Presley showing off some deep range there, back corner. And Presley has really expanded her toolbox throughout this season. That was a shot early in the year that she wouldn't necessarily be able to find the range on.
That's out of play, and Coppin State does end up with the point. Mommy Gore will check back in for Arizona State. There's 8 blocks, a couple of digs, a couple of kills as well for the Tempe native. Where'd she go to high school again?
Coronado.
Yeah, we had to get it in again. Second reference of the night.
Some great athletes come out of there, let me just say. Gotta have some fun with it.
Yeah,
she won a state title when she was there.
Coppin State ends up scoring yet another point, so they're trying to make things interesting and give them a lot of credit. Of course, this hasn't gone as they would have hoped tonight. They taken on a juggernaut. It was the number 2 seeded Sun Devils, but still a memory that everyone in this program will remember forever. And that's the cool part about this tournament, of course.
That's what Coach Walsh wanted his team too, to really soak this moment in, have fun. You got a tall task in front of you, but you can see the bench is still loose over there for Coppin State.
Some history coming here to the tournament. 3-0 scoring run for the Eagles. Presley. Stafford a big swing. That's out of play, and the Sun Devils end that 3-0 run. And are starting to close in on what would be a sweep tonight.
And you just never know in the first round how your team is going to come out. So Coach Van Niel has to be really pleased. That was one of the biggest concerns for Tennessee coach Eve Rackham-Watt, was the layoff that her Vols had after the SEC tournament, and came out a little bit flat those first 2 sets.
The way the schedule is set up in the Big 12 with no conference tournament, ASU only had 5 days in between the end of their regular season and the NCAA tournament. As there's a kill for Swinton. But nonetheless, you know, the Sun Devils last year on their home floor, they swept in the first round against New Hampshire. Ultimately lost in 4 sets the next day to Texas A&M. And you know that's on their minds, even though it's a brand new team. It's on the coaching staff's minds for sure.
But you still have some players that were part of last year's team, Bailey Miller among them. So she has that memory burned in her head.
Glover. There's kill number 12.
Ronnie Glover has been efficient as usual on that right side, and ASU, both of their setters do such a nice job of really getting her one-on-one matchups and putting her in positions with the speed of the Sun Devil offense to have success.
Tatum Parrott returns for ASU, and Miller's back on the service line. Good serve. And the lefty swing is out of play, so the Sun Devils now on top by 8.
When Coppin State looks back on this, it's really going to be the first touch that was the big struggle, and then the attack errors that they can point to.
Yeah, 23 attack errors compared to just 7 for Arizona State so far tonight in this one. There's another block. That's now number 11. Neal alongside Parrott that time.
Neal and Parrott have done a phenomenal job blocking that right side of Coppin State, completely taking away the angle and even the line shot at times.
So out of the timeout, it'll be Bailey Miller. Still back there, 3 straight points for the Arizona State Sun Devils. That's a nice play drawn up out of the break, and a kill for Caden Cupid, launching the arrow straight down.
I like that play a lot. It all started with the first contact, being able to have all 3 attack options available and to run your middle and Cupid.
She's been working on her offensive game, the defense, the blocking. It's always been there as part of Cupid's game, but trying to nail down her offensive approach as well. You can see Some marks of that improvement. Feels like that. Back-to-back points now for the Eagles.
The Eagles have served better in this third set, have been able to string together a couple of aces.
Oko Figueroa, the libero for the Eagles. That was just beautiful execution every step of the way, and it ends in a Noemi Glover 13th kill.
Perfect pass, speed to the pin, and Noemi Glover, who's just elite at her shot making. She's just going through the seam of that block, had it closed in time.
Lily Burgess back in there for the Sun Devils. Her first stats really of the entire season came in the second set, middle blocker. Devils by 8. Make it 9 as that touch just, again, just having to contest with that block. You can tell it's making Coppin State really rethink every single time.
As an attacker, when you're facing that big of a block, it starts to get in your head that you have to make adjustments as a hitter. So you start swinging differently than shots that normally score for you. 4
points away from a sweep for Arizona State. Parrott. Good hustle by the Eagles to keep it alive, but it was only momentary. And this run continues for the Sun Devils. They won the first set 25-11, the second set 25-14, and they're trying to end things tonight with more dominance. Dug out nicely by Neal. Attacked by Stafford. Wow, there was some real sizzle on that. Sun Devils able to handle it. Glover will tap it back over. Long rally here for both sides, giving everything in the closing moments. Burgess comes up with the kill.
Sorry, Burgess, have yourself a night coming off the bench and stepping up in a big way. That gap set has worked so well all night for all three ASU middles.
They're 2 points away on their home floor.
Burgess is working hard to in transition to make herself available.
That's out of play, and now it's match point for the Sun Devils. The fans rise to their feet at Desert Financial Arena. Second straight year ASU has hosted this tournament, and they're trying to keep this magical season on its road. Handled out for the Sun Devils. And that does it. A net violation to clinch it. ASU punches their ticket onto the second round. The number 2 seed sweeps away Coppin State.
Sun Devils with a dominant effort, both sides of the ball tonight, efficient offensively, balanced, spread the ball around, and then the block was an absolute force at the net.